All right. Well, after a lot of deliberating, we have set this in. At least for the position changes, we've set that in stone. Like so, Jack Harden will be a quarterback. The question is, who the hell is even going to stay on this team? Because we have a lot of decisions to make. Department of Player Safety is getting moved to wide receiver. We have a lot of cuts. A lot of cuts we're going to have to make. But we get the training results first. And we need a lot of help. And it looks like we're going to get it. So Skywalker will be an 89 for his one and only season as a starter. Mr. Janed now is 77. Again, no mobility at all for Skywalker. Only 85 throw power, but 93 accuracy. His throw power didn't get as good as I wanted it to. Adick and Jaqueezi. Jaqueezi's going to be the starter because he's only a junior. We have two 91 running backs. We're going to have to be a run-heavy offense. For sure. Toothy Beach now up to a 79. We got two great fullbacks as well, which is always nice. The receiver core is looking a little bit better. Hardly elite, but it's looking better than it did just a few seconds ago. Thank God for that. Squidward Tortellini sucks. Oxlong is going to be an 82. Frank Grimes an 88 at left tackle. Only a sophomore, by the way. Duke Silver is going to be an 88. 87 for Poopity Scoop. You know, honestly, the O-line's looking pretty good. Brian O'Cock at an 80. Got Eat Pant at a 78. 79 now for Milan Lucic. Cherry in attack, looking a little bit better. Shouldice up to an 85. Simpson an 83. Buttersticks up to a 79 again. Our secondary is going to suck. Our secondary is going to suck. You would think we just would have the worst pass defense in the nation. And I don't know what the hell we're going to do, kicker and punter wise, because my God, do we have some amazing options. It's going to be very difficult to decide the cuts for this team, but as per usual, once we get the training results, we look a lot better. How many players are we going to have to cut? Just how many? 12. All right, 12's not that bad. 12 isn't that bad. So, quarterback-wise, obviously, nobody goes. Nobody goes. Everybody stays. Running back-wise, everybody stays. Fullback-wise, everybody stays. Wide receiver-wise, everybody stays. Tight end. It's the O-line where we get into a bit of trouble. John Griffin's a 3-star and only a 59. Gotta be honest, I think John Griffin's gotta go. I think John Griffin's gotta go. All three guys ahead of him are only sophomores. Sorry, John, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough as a starting OVR. Left guard, we could cut Terry Jenkins if necessary. He's a little bit behind Lawrence Williams. At center, man, Bam Bam Gigolo is great. You do have Puffington, who's an 80 as a junior. And then right tackle. Man, we have some tough choices here. We have some real tough choices. You could argue it's worth getting rid of Sack Attack as a senior. He's only 1 point better than Julian Wilson, the JUCO. I mean, granted, Julian Wilson is slow as shit. But you could argue it's worth getting rid of Sack Attack. Again, we have 1,000 linebackers. NFT, it's a great name. But he's only a 65 as a sophomore. He's out. He's out, definitely. And then 2-star linebacker Ian Jones is also out. So NFT and Ian Jones, the first two cut. What do we got in the middle? Real argument for A.A. Rambalake to get cut off of this team. And then over here, another 2-star Josh Johnson. Gonna get rid of the freshman. Left side, we have Stephen Barclay and Barkevius Minka. Corner, we know we don't really have the depth to get rid of. At safety, we also don't really have the depth to get rid of anybody. Still gotta get rid of 8 people. Obviously, I want to try to hold on to the idea of elite kickers and punters, and my God, we have plenty of them. At least getting rid of one person would make a lot of sense. All right, another go through. We still got 8 people to cut. It's going to have to come from the O-line and probably a kicker or a punter. Two-star right tackle, Aaron Hawkins. Great starting overall, but he's only a 2-star. We'll let go of him. Guard, that leaves us with 5 guards and then a center. We're looking. I don't want to get rid of Puffington, but it would make some sense. He's already a junior. He's behind Felter Snatch and Poopity Scoop. But that's tough. That's real tough. Defensive tackle, we got to make the tough choice. We are going to get rid of Sack Attack. He's a senior. He's only 1 point better than Julian Wilson. We are going to get rid of Sack Attack here. Sucks, but he's out. Linebacker-wise, it's not quite as easy. Josh Nichols could get cut since he's in a depth role. Aaron Balake's got to go. Only a 74 as a junior, so sorry to Aaron. And I think as well, Josh Nichols as a senior, he's a depth option. I think it makes sense for him to go too, so that we can keep some of these other younger guys. Sorry to Josh Nichols. We'll take a bit of a hit at depth there, in terms of depth, but that's okay. I'm really tough at corner and at safety. I can afford to get rid of a corner, or excuse me, a safety. And it's gonna have to be Dick Thunder. He's only a 71 as a junior. It's got to be Thunder. That brings it down to 3. We can't hold every kicker and punter that we have. We know that's just simply not going to happen. Want to keep the wide receivers because we have 2 senior wideouts now. We have to get rid of another offensive lineman. We have to. And I think it's Puffington. You could argue Brickhouse. And obviously we are going to need to move a center over to right guard. It can be Felter Snatch or Poopity Scoop or Gigolo, who's a freshman, for fuck's sake. Blackhawks has been redshirted, but Rhino Cock hasn't. One of these 3 has to go. The lowest rated of the bunch is Puffington. So Puffington's solid, but he's got to go. I think he's got to go. I don't want to cut Jenkins because he's at least a 3-star. It'll take him a little bit to develop, but yeah, Puffington as a junior, obviously if he wasn't a junior, we wouldn't get rid of him. Puffington's got to go. 2 people left. 2 people left. 73 sophomore. There is an argument to get rid of Brickhouse. But I think it comes down to special teams. If we want to keep these linebackers, it comes down to special teams. A lot of freshmen at linebacker as well. Let's call a spade here. Nudell Legs, he's 1 point better than Beef Smell and a year older. And then there's the freshman punter, Dennis Carter, who's already a 79 as a freshman. Legs has to go. Legs has to go. It sucks, but he's got to go. The good thing is we have great options. We got to cut one more player. Look at the kick stats. That doesn't even matter. Like we did earlier. there's not like anyone who has like, oh, crazy power, you can't cut that guy. Like, that's just not a factor. One more person. You know what's funny is Mingo was mentioned, and I'm kind of leaning towards him. He is only a 65 as a redshirt freshman. It's already kind of like on pace with Jared Mitchell, if not outmatched. Look at the other. Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking Sox was onto something with Mingo. He has incredible speed, but that's all he's got. That's all he's got. If it's not Mingo, we could technically get rid of another safety. And it would not be Kevin Smith. It's going to be Mingo. Good athlete. Doesn't have a brain on him. We know Mitchell will end up being just as good next year. Yeah, I mean, 37 awareness on Mingo. Physical freak, physical athlete, no brain on him. We're down to 70. We knew there'd be tough cuts. We knew there would be tough cuts, but we are down to 70. Had to be done. Had to be done. Stay in the conference. I'm not bowing out of the ACC just to win. I'm not bowing out of the ACC just to win. So first and foremost, let's handle certain things here before we rename people. Starting off with the custom schedule. I want to handle this first. We actually have an opening in week 10, but we are going to want that to be our bye week. We're definitely going to want that. We actually have to play Georgia Tech this year. Interesting. So yeah, week 10 will stay open. Means we probably also want week 5 to be open. And play in our first 4 weeks of the season. Penn State, who were great last year. Not a ton of teams open for week 1. Not a ton of teams open. We'll go back to them. Week 2. Week 2. Played, CF. Tulsa is there. I'm intrigued by UAB. I'm also intrigued by Tulsa. After the season that they just had. Tulsa's a real interesting one. Kind of already got our rivalry over with Temple. I want to see who else is here because I'm going to look every week. North Dame, North Texas. A lot of people available in week 2. We could play pretty much anybody that we wanted in week 2. It is true that Utah State was up there last year as well. So what if we go Utah State? We go Tulsa. And we go UAB. And then week 1, I want to see all these teams on the road. Week 1, we just go with a gimme game as a warm-up. Could even be an FCS team. Eastern Mich, Eastern Carolina, Central Michigan. Let's take on East Carolina. I don't want the strength of schedule to drop too much. So 4 road games just to see what, you know, the different places look like, including Utah State and Tulsa, who were both good last year. And we'll finally play UAB. And then we get into the conference games. I think that's a strong schedule for the year. I'm okay with it being an A-. The red shirts will handle afterwards, but right now, I want to see who's on the board. We just got done with a top 9 recruiting class from this past season. Now it's a matter of seeing what's next for us. Who's out there? Are we going to have another good recruitment class? Connecticut. A lot of 4 stars and 3 stars. Well, a lot of 4 stars, a couple 3 stars. It's not that bad. What about out of Maine? A couple more 3 stars. Portland's Carl Ham. South Portland's Lamont Glover. And Winslow's Tyson Colvin. Massachusetts. Oh, it's been a pretty big disappointment. There's only 3 people, but not bad. More linebackers. New Hampshire. 1 3-star, and it's a kicker. Jeremy Turner. Rhode Island. 4-star athlete. Brandon Monroe. 4-star running back. Couple of corners. That's huge. Wow. Rhode Island. Rhode Island looking decent. 6'2", 280 as an athlete. Jesus Christ. I mean, O-line or D-line, basically. Vermont, a 3-star quarterback, Jeremy James. And out of Canada, multiple 3 stars. Peterborough's Derek Medlock, Regina's Kurt Nelson, Lorenzo Larson out of Hamilton, Bernard Moore out of Ottawa, Hull. 27 players on the board. No 2 stars yet. And we won't go after any 2 stars until we know the full picture with these top options. We'll scout those 2 stars as the weeks go along. But let's take a look at our early bit of scouting here. Jeremy James outright stays to 63. Callahan up by 1. Dustin Lee down by 1. Ham up by 4. Not bad. Jeremy Hawley down by 4. Parks up by 4. Interesting. A lot of movement one way or the other. Xavier Clark goes up by 1. Kenny Moore's a 79. Jesus Christ. Newberry's a 72. Still not bad. A lot of defensive tackles. A gem in Billy Bowling. 76 rated. Not bad at all. Not too shabby. Billy Bowling. Kendall Matt goes up by 4. Nelson, another gem. He's up to a 76. All of a sudden, the defense here, we have our first bust in Derek Medlock, but all of a sudden, the defense looking pretty promising. We got 50 points left this week. Let's go to the athlete then, and Brandon Moore down by 3. Good hit power, good tackling. I mean, yeah, he's O-line or basically D-line or linebacker. So not bad. And again, we don't even have everybody looked at. Those are just the points that we had for the week. So the schedule is set. The recruitment board is set. Next up, renaming players and figuring out who's going to rock the red shirt. Although, you know what? We can do the red shirt now. So, I mean, you guys will know if you end up with a player that's getting red shirted. But for this season, again, we already talked about it. Jack Harden will sit out. We don't know what his name will be. But for the moment, Jack Harden will be out. He will be the starter next year. Next year, Estrogen Ed will be behind him. Running back wise, pretty obvious, Ray Jones as well. Might as well sit him out for the year. Again, hopefully nobody wants to leave. 2 junior fullbacks. Wideout wise, we can afford to redshirt 1 person. It should probably be Kevin Boyd because we don't have the depth. Tight end wise, we're good. On the offensive line, we are going to redshirt Ryan O'Cock as a junior. Left guard, we got the 2 freshmen. Right guard, we have even more freshmen. Let's redshirt Terry Jenkins. And at center, there's nothing else we can do. 62 freshman or a 50. Yeah, I mean, Derek Harper's a 55. We might as well redshirt him for the year. Harden's name is already awesome. That's true. Defensive tackle, we're good with that amount of depth. You could argue a red shirt on Jeff Jarrett. But I don't mind keeping 4 people for a proper amount of depth. Linebackers, we'll redshirt both Barclay and Jared Mitchell. That way we got 5 options there. 3 middle linebackers. That's good, yeah. Corners. Can't really afford to redshirt anybody. I mean, I guess we could redshirt Leo Cronin. Yeah, we could redshirt Leo Cronin. And then it's safety. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we will redshirt Kevin Smith. Well, you know, I want someone who has that as their proper position. Let's redshirt Rivera. And then kicker and punter-wise, I can get away with redshirting Dennis Carter. Let's be honest, let's just run with Corduroy Jansen. Beef smell will take over next year. I think we're good. I'm just going to go back through one more time to see if we can be just a little bit more aggressive. But I think to ensure that we have the proper amount of depth, that's what we wanted to do. I think we're all right. Still tempted to redshirt Jeff Jarrett this year, but I think we need him. An extra wide out. It's definitely possible, but the problem is I don't trust our tight ends to be able to step in at wide receiver if injuries were to add up. That's the issue. I think we're good. So we know who will be redshirt, but do we? Because we don't know their names. We got to decide that next before we begin the 2020 season. How absurd is that?